All right. Hey, what's going on? YouTube, scooters out there, everyone out there that's watching us live. Um, we're recording live here on YouTube and we're recording live on Facebook on our West Coast Scooters channels. I'm Old Man Dan, and this is West Coast Scooters. Welcome. We're pretty much a group of ordinary people riding extraordinary scooters to help as many people that are less fortunate as possible to arrive, maintain, and become widely successful. Recently, I was looking all over YouTube, looking around, trying to find a video so I can do this handlebar mod. I changed the bars on Old Gracie here, the NanRobot D6 Plus. Couldn't find anything, so I had to go at it without, I tried to do as much research as possible, but the pickings were slim. But long story short, I did it. It's on there. I got it on there. I'm doing this video to help those out there who have a D6 Plus that want to do a handlebar mod but don't know how, and to keep you from making the same mistake I made. And so what I'll do, I'll kind of walk you through, even though it's done now, I'll walk you through the steps. But one of the big mistakes I made when trying to get all of this off of the handlebar was loosening one simple bolt that now I gotta go in and do repair on because it caused a problem. And I'll talk about that later. So, first things first. First thing you wanna do is make sure that you have all your tools at your disposal. Set your scooter on a rack, a stand, a table, a hydraulic table, or a jack, so that it's that it won't fall over when you're working on it. Especially on this NanRobot D6 Plus, because the kickstand is so long. I'm gonna mod that kickstand, shorten that puppy, because that thing almost makes the scooter stand straight up. And of course, one little tap and it's going down. And we can't do that to our, $2,000 machines, right? So, so on this particular video, we're gonna talk about the handlebar mod and how you can do this yourself. Keep in mind, once you buy an e-scooter, you have to be prepared to work on it, to do your own maintenance. If you're not prepared to do your own maintenance, then it's best you don't even get into this e-scooter community, family. West Coast Scooters kind of pride ourselves because we're a different kind of club. We are a club, but we're a 501c3 nonprofit club. And we are focused and passionate about helping those less fortunate. So every person that becomes a member of West Coast Scooters has that same passion. We're very structured, we're very organized. You want to check us out, go on our website, www.westcoastscooters.org. You do have to be at least 21 years of age at the least. And our maximum age limitation is 65 or older. But there are some exceptions that we have based on certain personal limitations. You'll find that on our website as well. So let's dig in. Yeah, we do. Well, before I say that, we hang, we go on long rides and things, but most of our long rides are because of and geared to the crusades that we do. And when we go out to help those less fortunate, we call those crusades. And we partner with the local government in the community. That's law enforcement, local business, local politicians, and churches. We partner with them so that together we can help improve their community. Remember, we're the only ones that don't live in that community that's going into the community to help that community. So we go into those communities to help every part of that community, that's local government and the constituents, to better understand each other, to get along, and we're kind of operating as the middleman, and we are operating as the source that brings the resources. All right, we got a lot of things planned for the rest of this year and next year especially. Okay, so got the infomercial out the way. So like I was saying, the first thing you want to do is make sure your setup, where you're going to work, is clean. You have the proper place to mount or set your scooter so it doesn't fall over. And you want to make sure that you have all your tools that you're going to use for that job. You know, I mean, I got toolbox over here, it's full of tools and everything, but I take out the tools for that job. So that means you gotta check your tools and check and see what you need for the job. Now, a lot of people have their tools marked. Well, I wouldn't say marked. They know their tools. You know, me, I'm not a mechanic, and people that know me know that I don't even do much of my own labor and work. This is the only time that I've kind of taken a liking to doing my own work, because I get to know the safety of my scooter. I get to know just how safe it is by doing all the work. And I've been working on both of these scooters, even my other ones. And I learned so much. And the confidence you have riding your scooter when you work on your scooter is invaluable. Okay? So you want to have all your tools. You know, I don't know, well, it's on there. That's interesting. Okay. So, yeah, they're on there, but these were supposed to be metric, but they're not. These are SAEs. So they're not like a T3 or whatever, you know what I mean? But I don't want to give you those sizes because you really want metric. But I do have my metric L hexes, and then I do have the L stars. You will need this as well. You're gonna need your hex. I would say you get a T4, T3, T2, and T1. Don't mark me on those because maybe not. But also with this NanRobot, there's one thing on here that the only hex that work is the one that comes on this cheap little NanRobot tool. So you want to kind of keep this around because you will need it when you're trying to remove these things off your handlebar. All right. Loctite thread locker, but you want blue, removable, not permanent red. Zip ties, a broom or a brush or something to keep your area clean while you're working. Camera, scissors, a pen or marker, tape, and paper so that you can make tags. So you can make tags. All right, and we'll talk about that as we go along. Okay. Once you got all your tools together and everything, the first thing before you do anything is grab your camera and take a picture of the front of your setup, how it looks right now. Okay? Take a picture of how this looks, and how this looks. Just in case you have a slippy kind of memory and you forget how it was, because when you get ready to put the things back on, you want to make sure you put them on the opposite way that you took them off. Like whatever you took off last year goes first when you put on the new handlebar, okay? Once you take your pictures and everything, then you want to start removing some things. But the first thing you're going to remove is this bag. If you have a bag on your scooter, remove the bag. Remember, when you remove the items, set the items in order where you remove them. So I will set my bag here. First thing I took off, okay. Then you want to get your T's or your Allen wrenches, and you want to make sure that you start unloosening everything on this handlebar. Oh, I didn't even mention, you got to have the screwdriver too, a Phillips head screwdriver or whatever screwdriver. Like if you have mirrors, and you know my screwdriver, my mirrors take a Phillips head. So you start loosening. On this particular scooter, what I want to do is I want to take off my blinkers, take those off, because those are the extreme. And then I'll set those next to the back. All right. Then I'll start loosening up. Now this is where I made my mistake. When I was loosening things up, and once I got everything loose, now remember, when you're loosening up all of the attachments that are on your handlebar, your existing handlebar, you're not going to, don't loosen your grip yet, because it's going to hold all your loose parts on there. Okay, so you loosen all, make sure everything is loose and everything. Because it was my first time doing it, when I loosened up my brake lever, I could not get it off the bar, which was critical. I needed to get it off the bar. And so there's a strategy, and I didn't realize that this strategy is a common strategy, but I figured it out. Thank God I have a little sense. But what I end up doing is I start taking it apart, thinking I can just take the clamp off and just pull it off without trying to stretch it off. And so I unscrewed these 3 screws, and when I got to that center screw, that's where my mistake came in, because that center screw on the brake lever is your bleed screw. I learned that the hard way. All my fluid came out, and so now I don't have front brakes. So I'm going to get the bleeding kit, and I'll do that. I'll do a video as I'm bleeding my brakes, so we'll have a NanRobot D6 Plus bleeding video, so you know how to bleed your brakes. But lesson learned. Most of the things on these scooters you're gonna learn by trial and error anyway. So I don't feel bad about it. All right, but pick a side, whichever side. Like once you pull this bag off, you're gonna see a Y, and where the wires are like shaped in a Y. You got a bundle of wires going this way and a bundle of wires going that way, and they're wrapped. And so the wrapping looks really, really nice. That's why you got the scissors, because it's imperative that once you choose which side, now you're not going to take both sides off at the same time. You're going to only take one side off. So that means that you're going to, after you loosen everything up, you're going to push everything to that side. So whichever side is the longest, leave on. The shortest side is the side you want to take everything off. So that'll be your first side that you take off. And the reason I say that is because you're going to push that long side over towards the stem, that way, towards this stem. Once you push everything over as far as you can get it, then you can then come over here and stretch or pull everything off the bar. Plus, well, let me go back a little bit. Once you loosen everything up and everything, you cut all the ties. You cut all the ties just to this part of to the neck. Not all the ties on all your wires. Just cut, you're gonna cut probably 6 ties, okay? Depending on how yours is wrapped. Because you want to be sure to wrap it back the same way so that it looks clean and professional. So you cut the ties, then you take the wrapping that's wrapped around the wires, take that off, and you set that next to your signal or your back, whatever's next in line. Okay, so that you know that that's where your ties go. You'll see why I did that, because when you get ready to do everything back, you just start from that side and work your way back to the last. Okay. Once you get all your ties and everything, then your wires are going to be looser. They have more give. Here I am fighting everything and trying to do my brake lever when all I had to do is just cut the zip ties, undo the wires, and then now, this is where the tags come in. Before you unplug any wire, tag it. There's only 4 wires you're gonna tag, and I have those numbered here. So I have number 1, number 2. You notice there's 2 numbers. Okay, you're gonna cut this tag in half, and then you're gonna get a piece of tape. Put the tag in the middle of the tape, and then you're gonna wrap this tag around the first wire, around the second wire. You're gonna put one tape on one side of the connection and the other number 1 tape on the other side of the connection. Still don't pull no tags apart. Do that with all 4 wires that you're gonna pull apart. Make sure that the same number is on that attached wire. So that means there should be 2 number 2s on one wire, 2 number 1s on one wire, 2 number 3s on one wire, and 2 number 4s on one wire. Once you check and confirm that it is set up that way, then you pull the tabs apart. Pay attention to the connection though. There's a notch in the connection. It's imperative that that notch lines up when you get ready to bring 1 back to 1. You connect number 1 to number 1, number 2 to number 2, number 3, number 4, and so on. Okay, when you get to that part where you're reconnecting everything. Now that you have all of that done, you got your wires tagged, you got your the zip ties cut, you got your wrapping off, sitting over to the side. Now you have, some flexibility with your wiring. The next thing you're gonna do is remove the 4 bolts on the stem. That's gonna take your largest Allen wrench. Remove the 4 bolts on the stem. Now it really doesn't matter how you remove them, but how you put them back does, because you gotta cross tighten. So when you screw them on, you just catch them and then you cross tighten together so that it tightens together at the same time. You don't have one side tighter than the other. It's important because your handlebar can get loose on you, and that could be catastrophic on the road. All right. Once you take those 4 bolts off, then it goes next in line on your staging area. Put those bolts in your bracket right there. Now your handlebar is dangling. Okay. Before you even remove your handlebar, you might want to, if you have a kiddie bar or a smaller accessory bar on top of your bars, you want to probably remove that first. I keep everything on this bar that's on it, and I just loosen it up and take it off and sit it next in line in my staging. Now when I remove the 4 bolts in the bracket from the neck, I don't have so much on my bars. I just have this stuff. It's going to be heavy enough. Now, this is a trick I like. The wires that are hanging from all of this, you can use that to hang the bar, because now you're working with the previous or the currently installed bar. You can hang it here. You can hang it like with the wires hanging right here on your neck, because you want to pull. So my first side that I did is my right side, or my front brake side. That was the side that I had more ability to get it off the bar. Once you get it off the neck, now you can actually move the bar closer. Once you push everything towards the stem, now it's easier to remove things. So everything comes off because you've disconnected the wiring. Okay, so all of that comes off. The only wire you didn't disconnect, and that's why I had that problem with the brake lever, is the brake lever. You can't disconnect that wire. So you have to be able stretch that one all the way off the end. And doing it that way makes it easy for you. You can be finished this job in 30 minutes if you do it that way. And don't make the mistake I made, because I was trial and error trying to learn this thing. Once I get all those off on that side, I go grab my new bar and slide those on the new bar. The one I took off last goes on the new bar first. Pay close attention to the position that you have it. Make sure that it's in the same position as you took the pictures. So you might want to look at your pictures. If not, if you can still remember, then make sure you put the single, dual, and the eco switch on first. Then you'll after you do that, then you're gonna put your display, your mini motors display. Then after that, then the mirror, and then after the mirror, then the brake lever. And then after the brake lever, then I'll put my grip. And then I'll lock that grip on so that it holds that stuff. I'm not gonna tighten anything, I'm just putting it on. Keep everything loose still, all right? But make sure it's in the right position. So once you get everything back on, and if it's not the right position, then you gotta kind of go over this whole thing all over again, almost as if you're removing it for the first time, which is a headache. You don't want that problem. So just do it right the first. Take your time and just do it, you know. Take your time and get it done right the first time. Now, once you get that, now you hang the new bar on the neck, take the old bar off and take all of those off, which will be easier because now you only got one side connected. So you take all of that off of the old bar. Okay. Set the old bar to the side. Put it on the new bar. Now your bar has all the attachments and accessories on the bar. Make sure, like I said, that you know your horn and light switch is put on right before the grip. The first thing you're gonna put on here is your key and your battery voltometer, then your mirror, then your brake lever, and then you're going to do your light switch horn signal. All right, and then your grip, and then if you have a signal, put that on the end or end cap. But tighten your grip on there so that nothing slides back off. Next thing you're gonna do is grab your bracket. That's next in line over there, right? Grab your bracket and your 4 screws. When you put your bar on, you wanna make sure you line that bar up. Like me, the dip, I like my dip on the top. That's how it really should be. Some people might like the dip pointing towards them. You know, you can put your bar however you want. The most important part is that you center the bar. It can't be more to the right or left. That can cause you to have an accident. Make sure you center the bar on the neck. Once it's centered, hold it there, because remember, you got all your things. It's kind of making it a little difficult. Hold it there. Hold your bracket with one thumb on there while you screw the screws in to hold. Once you get the screws hand tightened, then you get your Allen wrench and you tighten, cross tighten. You might want to add a dot of blue Loctite to just a little bit past the end of the screw, not the top, but the starting point. All right, just a little, because you want that baby to, you know, to crack, just like when you take off any screws on your scooter for the first time. You got that factory crack that just pop, it snaps kind of. That's because they have a real thin coat of Loctite on there. And so that's all you want, is just a thin coat of Loctite, just something so that it'll hold your screw in from the vibrations. Okay, so anytime you break the manufacturer seal on your screws, you want to kind of add a little thin coat of blue removable Loctite. Blue removable, not red permanent. I cannot express that enough. Then once you cross tighten, you're going to cross the top left, bottom right, bottom left, top right, and then Just keep going around till it's all flush and tight. Once your handlebar is tight, now you can begin to arrange these. I would do, you know, like test it out, especially on this side. On your left side where you have the switch for your light, signals, and horn, the brake caliper, you know, and you're gonna test what's comfortable to you before you tighten it. So you do like just a little tight so it'll just stay in place but not tighten it. But you wanna check where the caliper in your, you know, because once you start tightening this stuff on, you're not gonna work from the right to the left now. Now you're gonna work from the left to the right because you wanna flush your grip, and then you wanna flush everything to that grip. Leave a little space in between your mirror and some of the stuff for aesthetics, only for aesthetics, you know, so it looks cleaner. You leave a little gap, but not the brake lever and the switch. That brake lever, you gotta really push it over, make sure it's in the right place, and then loosen your grip, push that out, and pull this switch over and lock that brake right there. Then when you put it back, this switch is gonna cover that nut, that bolt, and that clamp on the brake. That's why you wanna do it like that. Now you have that in place. The next thing you tighten is your mirror. Next thing you tighten is your key and your amperage meter. And then if you have anything else on there. But technically all you're gonna really have is 3 things plus your grip from the manufacturer. I didn't count the mirror and the added things. You're not gonna put this on yet until you get all your main attachments back on the bar. That's your brake lever, your switches, your meters, your mini motor display, your single, dual, and eco button, and your brake lever on this side. So once you get all that on and it's all tight, everything is where you want it. Don't worry about adjusting your mirrors till after you're finished. Don't get yourself all crossed up where you're doing too many things at once. You see how I stay one side, get that together, next side, get that together. Then I start tightening things on one side, not both sides at the same time. All right, once you get all that on, then you want to put your kitty bar back up here, accessory bar, whatever you want to call it. Put it back on there, tighten it up real good, make sure it's even on both sides so you don't look like Boo Boo the Clown when you're rolling down the street. All right, and then the last thing, of course, is to add your bag back to your stem. Now, once you get all that done, then you take your scooter, you know, down. You might want to stand on it and just check and see, you know, if your mirrors or everything is like where you want them. But the most important thing, before you even take it down, is put your key in the ignition, turn it on, and test, make sure everything is working, because you got all your wires that you snap back in. Remember when you snap those wires back, like when you get to this side, this is the only side you're gonna unsnap. You ain't gonna unsnap the wires on this side, and you ain't even gonna you're not even gonna cut the zip ties on this side. You're only gonna cut the zip ties on that side that you are separating the wires from. Remember, you're not doing all of them, and you only do that to the neck. So like I said, you're only gonna be cutting 4 zip ties, and you're only gonna remove 1 wrap. And then when you get ready to go back, now you have all those wires numbered. It's only 4 wires. They're all numbered, and so you match number 1, but you gotta match, before you push that wire in to snap it together, make sure you have the notch aligned, because if you mess that up, then you can only imagine rewiring your whole, you know, that's not gonna be fun. Okay, I think that's it. Now you test everything, make sure it's all good. You clean up behind yourself, you know, make sure you get, you know, you clean up, put all your tools away and all of that. And, you know, wipe down your scooter, clean your work area, and then you're done. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you do the handlebar mod. The next one I'll do a video on it because I'm familiar with it and everything. It was really trial and error on that first one, and I didn't even think to do a video because I didn't know what I was doing. But we got it now. that's how you can keep from making mistakes I made, especially loosening screws and things that you don't have to loosen. When you're doing your handlebar mod, all you have to do is disconnect one side wires, only one side. And then you're gonna push everything over to that side to get that side off once you remove the handlebar from the neck to give you that ability to move and shift the wire so you get that one side off. You know, once you get that one side off, it's easy to take the other side off. Don't confuse the two sides. Get yourself all mixed up and everything, and then find yourself having a right side lever on the left side and all that, and then you gotta start all over again. All right. That's it for this video. This is Old Man Dan saying I appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe to my channel by pushing that button right about there. And subscribe. Tell a friend. If you want to join or want to find out what we're all about, you can visit our website at www.westcoastscooters.org. Go on there and it'll help you out. You know, we're also building a membership site where only the members will be able to sign on and be kind of like a social media site, like a Facebook site. But it's more than that. It allows them to be able to come together, do a lot of club meetings on that site. And so that's it. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.